name is Bo. Welcome back to my channel. This is Books Like Fun. And today I want to talk about all the big books that I have on my shelf. And when I think of big books, I think of books that are over 500 pages. I have over 1,000 books in my bookshelf. And unfortunately, I don't have them all in Goodreads yet. I just started my Goodreads account, so everything's not in there yet. So I couldn't search Goodreads for all the big books that I have. So I pulled books that looked big from my shelf and wrote them down and their page numbers. I haven't read all of them yet, but we're gonna go through what maybe is probably the biggest books that I have on my shelf. I'm sure there are others that are over 500 pages, but these are the ones that I was able to find. I didn't want to go through every single one. One of these days, I will get all of my books on Goodreads, and it'll be so much easier to search them. So I have a list in front of me. I try not to look down too much. So let's go through them from shortest that I know of to largest, and we'll talk about whether I've read them or not. So the first one on my list, so the shortest that I have over 500 pages that I found, was Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. And I haven't read this one yet. I think this copy belongs to my husband. I do want to read this book eventually, but I haven't got around to it yet. The next one at 561 pages, The Queen of the Night by Alexandra Chee. I haven't read this one either. I'm not even sure what this one's about. I'm not sure where I got this book. So it's been on my shelf. It's been on my shelf for a really long time, and I don't know when I'll get to it, but maybe. Coming in at 566 pages is Dead Ice by Laurel K. Hamilton. And I haven't read this one either. I have read most of her Anita Blake series. I read them a long, long time ago. And then life happened and I kept buying them, but didn't have the chance to read them. So I still need to read this one too. And maybe I'll do a video of all the Laurel K. Hamilton books that I have. There's a lot of them. Next, at 598 pages, is Fairy Tale by Stephen King. And I haven't read this one yet either. My goodness, how many of these have I read? I do want to read this book. I like Stephen King. I've seen a lot of the movies based on Stephen King books. Haven't read as many Stephen King books, but I'm starting to collect them. My mom loved Stephen King, and I'm starting to collect more and more of his books. All right, now for the books in the 600 page range. At 619 pages, The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I have read the Twilight series, and I liked the Twilight series. The books are better than the movies, but I haven't read The Host yet. And some people have said that The Host is better than Twilight. Some people have said it's not as good, so I gotta read it and decide for myself. So the next book on the list is not a novel. It's a collection of short stories, but I'm still counting it because it is in one volume, and that is 638 pages, and that is 42 Tales by Edgar Allan Poe. And I've read some of his short stories, not everything that he's written, but my favorite is The Black Cat. Really love The Black Cat, and of course The Telltale Heart. But hopefully I'll get around to reading the rest of those. Next, at 652 pages, is The Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. And I'm going to have some Harry Potter books on here because those last few books in that series are big books. So of course I'm going to include Harry Potter. Okay, the next book that I have, I'm also counting. It's not a novel, it's a collection, but it's in one volume, so I'm counting it, and that is 656 pages. That is the iZombie collection of all of the comics. I love iZombie, the show, and I didn't know that it was a comic beforehand. So once I found out, I bought the giant book with all of the comics together. And one day I will sit down and read it. I know the show is a lot different than the comics, but I am still excited to get to that one. And I think I might read that sooner rather than later. Next, at 663 pages, is Ink Death by Cornelia Funk. I hope that's how you say her name. Cornelia Funk. I haven't read any of this series. I saw the movie. There was a movie, right? I might have to look that up. There was a movie with Brendan Fraser in it. Yeah, I think. I saw that movie. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. I think I remember seeing a movie with Brendan Fraser in it about Inkheart, right? That was the first one. Yeah, I have all the books on my shelf, but I haven't read them yet. Next, coming in at 692 pages, is a book by Joe Hill. It has a license plate on the front. Some people might say NOS4A2, but I say Nosferatu. So that's how I'm gonna pronounce that book. I have read this book and I love this book. This is an amazing book and I want to reread it. Maybe over and over again, because it's a great book. Joe Hill takes after his dad, who is Stephen King. So love that book. Next, at 695 pages, is The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand. This book belongs to my husband. He has read it a couple of times, I think. I have not read it yet. One of these days, I will read it. Maybe, hopefully. All right, those are my 600-page books. Now for the 700-page books. At 734 pages is The Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling. And then right after that, 759 pages, The Deathly Hallows. I love the Harry Potter books. I seriously need to read those again as well. Next, again, I'm counting this one because I have it in one volume. I think a lot of people have it in separate books, but I do have the one volume of it, and that comes in at 767 pages. That's The Chronicles of Narnia. My sister bought me that book, and I have read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but I haven't read the others yet. I will. And then again, the next one, I am counting it because it's a volume. I do have it in one volume, even though it's a quartet. And this is 772 pages. It's the Giver Quartet. And I've read the Giver, but not the other books that come after. When I saw that they came in one volume, I had to have it. It's a beautiful book. I'll try and put pictures of all the books up on the screen. The next book is 789 pages, and that is Remember Me by Christopher Pike. And I read this a long, long time ago, and I want to reread it because I remember liking it, but I can't remember all the stuff that happened in that book. So I need to reread it. It's a big book. All right, those are my 700-page books. Now my 800-page books, 849 pages, is 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I've seen the show that was based off of this book, and the show, I liked the show. I don't know if other people like the show who have read the book, but I liked the show. So I'm excited to read the book and see how different it is. And now at 870 pages is Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling. So all those last Harry Potter books are huge. And I've read that a couple of times. I've read the Harry Potter series several times. Every time a new movie was coming out, I reread the whole series before that movie came out. So I've read them a lot. And then, of course, the last book. I don't have any 900-page books that I know of, but this last book, it belongs to my husband, and I haven't read it. It's 1,455 pages, and that's War and Peace. So I don't know if I will ever read War and Peace. My husband's read it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll slowly work my way through it. Maybe I'll do a video about slowly working my way through it. I don't know. Seems like a really big book. And I have so many other books that I want to read, but we'll see. So those are all of my big books. I haven't read most of them, unfortunately, but one day I will. I plan on reading most of those eventually, and maybe they'll make their way into my YouTube videos. If you are interested in my BookTube newbie tag, click the link right there. If you're interested in all the books that I own by Stephen King, click the video over here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time in my next video. Bye.